All right, if you're a real estate fund manager, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The quarter ends and that clock starts ticking on your investor updates. It's a super critical task, right? But let's be real, it's also a massive time drain. So, how can AI help you get that time back? Let's get into it. 10 plus hours. That's how long so many fund managers spend every single month just crafting investor updates. Just think about that for a second. What could you do with an extra full day of focused, high-value work back in your pocket?
Yep, that's the one. We're talking about that whole grind of drafting, revising, and sending those crucial quarterly updates to your limited partners. It's the kind of repetitive stuff that honestly pulls you away from the work that really moves the needle. Analyzing deals, building relationships, actually managing the investments.
Okay, but this is where it gets really interesting. What if you could just offload all that tedious stuff, the first draft, pulling all the data, the formatting, and hand it over to an intelligent assistant? That's the promise we're going to explore today. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to walk through this kind of step by step. We'll start with the problem itself, then introduce a super simple first step anyone can take today. From there, we'll level up to some truly automated workflows and even enterprise solutions. And then we'll wrap it all up by helping you figure out your own AI strategy. Okay, first up, let's really dig into the problem, because once you really get the pain point, the solution just feels that much better. We're calling this the investor update overload. It's a total high-wire act, right? You have to be transparent but confident, detailed but also concise. Every single word matters. And while you're agonizing over getting the phrasing just right, the actual reason you got into this business in the first place, that gets shoved to nights and weekends. Sound familiar? But what if there was a better way? One that doesn't need a new budget or a complex rollout. Let's dive into the very first, most accessible step you can take: meeting your first AI assistant. So, the easiest way to get started is with something you probably already have access to, maybe even have open in another tab right now. A tool like ChatGPT. The best way to think about it, it's like a super smart, tireless intern who can whip up a solid first draft for you in literally seconds. No new software, no cost, just a smarter way to get going. Okay, and this right here, this is the magic key. What you see on the screen is a powerful prompt that you can use today. Seriously, feel free to pause this, take a screenshot. You just paste in your raw data and your notes, and it generates a professional draft. And here's the big insight. This isn't about getting a perfect final product. No way. This is about getting you 80% of the way there, so you can use your brain power to refine the message, not just write it from a blank page. And the impact? It's immediate. Just by using this one simple prompt, you can easily slash 2, maybe 3 hours off your process per update. That's a massive win for a tool that costs you nothing. Okay, so you've tried the prompt. You're saving a couple of hours. That is awesome. But what if you're thinking bigger? What if you want to move past the whole copy-paste game and get into real end-to-end automation? Well, that's where we level up the workflow. And right here, the path kind of splits, depending on what you need. If you want to build a full-on automated assembly line that works while you're doing other things, then a tool like Lindy is going to be your best friend. But if you're someone who lives inside your Outlook inbox and you just want a smarter assistant right there with you, then MailMaestro is absolutely the way to go. All right, let's dig into Lindy for a second. This is for when you're ready for the real deal in automation. It basically connects all the different apps you're already using, your CRM, Dropbox, even property management software like AppFolio, and it turns them into one seamless process. It can automatically see when there's new data, draft the update, and even schedule it to send. And the results? They're pretty incredible. We heard about one operator who turned a 4-hour soul-crushing task into a quick 20-minute review. Just a final check. That's a huge difference. The AI does the heavy lifting. You provide that final expert oversight. Okay, now for the other path, we've got MailMaestro. Its superpower is just pure convenience. It lives right inside Outlook, so you're not jumping between windows. It actually understands the context of your email threads, so it can draft super relevant, property-specific updates, and even help you tweak the tone with a single click. All right, so we've talked about the free smart intern and these more specialized assistants. But what about the big players? What if you're at a larger firm, one that's already all in on a major tech ecosystem? Well, that brings us to the enterprise-grade solution. It's as simple as this. If your fund runs on Microsoft 365, then Microsoft Copilot is built to be your AI-powered central nervous system.
And it's not just another app you have to open. No, it's woven right into the fabric of the tools you're already using every single day. Outlook, Teams, Excel, you name it.
The two huge words here are integration and security. Because it's native, it can securely go out and look at all of your data. We're talking reading PDFs of investor agreements, pulling specific numbers from your Excel models, and then bringing it all together into a comprehensive draft. And it does all of this inside Microsoft's super secure, compliant bubble. For any fun dealing with serious regulations, this is, well, it's a game changer. Whew. Okay, we have covered a ton of ground, right? From a simple prompt to a fully integrated system. So the big question is, what's the right AI strategy for you? All right, let's just break it all down into a simple choice. If you're just dipping your toes in the water, or you only do these updates once in a while, just stick with that ChatGPT prompt. It's free and it works. If you live in Outlook and want a boost, Mail Maestro is your guy. Ready to go full automation across all your apps? You gotta look at Lindy. And finally, if your whole world is Microsoft 365, Copilot is the no-brainer, deeply integrated solution. But this is probably the most important thing to remember through all of this. AI isn't here to replace your expertise. It's not going to replace your judgment or your relationships. What it does is handle the 80% of the grunt work, the routine, repetitive stuff. And that frees you, your time, and your brain power for the 20% that actually creates value. The strategy, the judgment, that human touch. So look, as we wrap this up, the question isn't if you should be using AI. That ship has sailed. It's here. The real question you got to ask yourself is, with tools like these out there, how much more of your most valuable resource, your time, are you willing to keep wasting on tasks that a machine can do for you?